Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is The Long View. And that is because today we are having the first eclipse of the year, and it is a total lunar eclipse. These are very rare eclipses. A lunar eclipse is a full moon, so we know that the full moon under this eclipse is at 5 degrees of Sagittarius, and so that means that the sun would be at 5 degrees of Gemini, and they are opposing each other, which by itself can lead to indecision or confusion. However, this is a time when the things that Sagittarius stands for are really going to be accentuated. And so what it means is that since Sagittarius is the traditional ruler of the 9th house, of the higher mind, and of things that take a long time to cultivate or accumulate and reach a conclusion, because Sagittarius rules colleges and graduate schools, professional schools such as medical school or law school. It rules all the courts, any level of a court, and the whole judicial system throughout the world. So it does rule the world court. And it also rules people from foreign countries, and it rules long distance travel to those countries. And it rules at the very highest level of being a Sagittarius, it rules things that have endured for a very long time, such as religion and philosophy. And so those things are accentuated right now. And above all, since Sagittarians are high-minded, it's an intellectual sign ruled by Jupiter, it simply means that Sagittarius rules international law. And it could rule something like the World Court or the United Nations or the World Bank. And so anything that is involving the interplay of nations or the activities or the boundary disputes, whatever it is that go on, Sagittarius would have rule over that. But we know that the courts do not move quickly, and neither does higher education. Generally, if you've gotten an education at one level, then there's another higher level and a higher level after that. It takes years to get through all of that. But the idea is, to a Sagittarian, that they want to be somewhat broad-minded and understand the points of view of a lot of different people. And they can also understand people in terms of their religion, which has evolved over centuries, or their philosophy, and that could be within their own cultures. So this total lunar eclipse is rare because it's total, and it's also rare because this eclipse is very poorly positioned. And so a total lunar eclipse, under any lunar eclipse, one woman goes and another woman comes, and the effect of an eclipse is generally for about 6 months. So that doesn't have to happen simultaneously, but it could happen any time in the next 6 months. But because it's the moon that is being totally eclipsed, and the moon rules women, it is an indication that some woman is going sometime in the next 6 months, and she will never recover the influence that she had before. It's never coming back. She may have elected that as well. She may decide to step down from a role she's had for a long time and feel that her experience was more relevant to some events in the past, and someone else's experience could be more relevant to future endeavors. So she may decide to step down, relinquish her former influence, and perhaps act like something like a counselor or somebody who can be an advisor. Maybe that's enough for her. So that's an example of somebody who is going to lose or never regain the influence that they had before. But it might be that she selects to do that. And so that would be fine. The person who would be coming along, remember it's one woman goes and another woman comes. The person that would be coming along might be younger and less experienced, but a little bit more in tune with what's going on today, and so be better equipped to handle daily problems. And so that could all work out. But the reason why the moon is so poorly positioned is because there are 6 planets in a harsh T-cross among the mutable signs. There are 4 mutable signs: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, where the full moon is today, and Pisces. And so the mutable signs are very adaptable. They're very easy to get along with. Even if they don't agree with your point of view, they're generally willing to listen to it. And that's what I mean by being adaptable and versatile. But that isn't how they're feeling right now under this eclipse, because the full moon in Sagittarius is not only being opposed by the sun in Gemini exactly, but Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, is in the sign, and so is Venus. All 3 of them are opposing the full moon in Sagittarius. And on top of that, Jupiter has just gone into Pisces. It is joining Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, there, and they too are squaring the full moon in Sagittarius. So it's sort of an uphill battle right now under this full moon eclipse, and it's a total lunar eclipse, so we are looking at a change. But it may be a change in the roles of women, for instance, in a broad sense. Women, they may decide that they like working from home, maybe, or combining their other family duties with their work duties as well. Who knows? But we do know something's about to change because it's a total eclipse. And that is why even if it's poorly positioned, we probably will all feel it. Now, how could you be affected by the long view right now? I think everyone is going to be affected by this eclipse, and the reason why is because I think that we have to come out of this pandemic. It has changed all of us in one way or another. Even if you weren't sick, you may have been very worried about your family members or your job or a lot of different things in society, and that could affect you. And so I think that the long view that we are all about to develop and review is to turn back to something that is more normal. In other words, we may not be willing by coming out of the dangerous period, we may not be willing to take on brand new ideas that have no proof of success. But we may be feeling as if we want to get back to something familiar. So something that's stable, something like religion or philosophy that has lasted a long time. And so I think that what we want to do is get back to something more normal. So even though a guaranteed change is coming, it may not be completely progressive, because once you've been hit by something, and we've all been hit by the pandemic, you've got to get up and get going again. But it's better if you get up on stable ground and you do things that are familiar to you first, and that carry on the age-old traditions of your family or of your culture and of your country. What's wrong with that? Nothing. So I think that the long view is coming for all of us, but it is not toward new experimental ideas. It's back to something that can be more normal and stabilize us. Okay, what does this mean to an Aries? Well, Aries, it's wonderful that the full moon in Sagittarius is trining your sun. It's the only planet in a fire sign, but it is trining your sun and the Leo sun, which is good. It is poorly positioned and it's being totally eclipsed. And so there's going to be a change in your life, Aries, and it may not be directly in your life. It may be a change that involves somebody else who may decide to step down or move on, or you yourself could be deciding to do that. And it might be because you just feel that it's time and that your greatest efforts have already been expressed in one way or another. They're in wherever you are in your job. Maybe there's not much else you can do. Maybe you've already done it. And so this is a time when you too could take the long view and decide maybe to travel. That's ruled by Sagittarius. Or you may decide to go back to school because Sagittarius rules higher education. But whatever change you decide to make, Aries, I think that with so many planets going retrograde in June, there will be 3 retrograde planets at the start of June and 4 by the end of the month. We are all going to slow down a little bit and be able to think over what we want our next steps to be. And that's what I advise you to do, Aries. You do not have to sprint forward right now. You don't have to move fast on anything. There are 6 planets that are squaring or opposing this full moon. Lots of indecision and confusion around. So what you can do, since it's actually trining your sun, is you can take this time to just contemplate and take a long view on what you want your future to be. And think about it long and hard, because this could be a wonderful opportunity for you to change course a little bit. Either go back to something that is more normal for you, or maybe to just relax a little bit more and perhaps not carry such a great burden of responsibility. So maybe you could do that. And that also means you might want to develop more of your creativity. So I wish you luck on that. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. This is a time when the full moon total lunar eclipse may not affect you as much as it does other people, and that is because it is 150 degrees away from your sun or in conjunct. And that simply means that there's a lot going on in Sagittarius, but it may not affect you too much. Now, your sign is a financial sign, a fixed financial sign ruling investments. And Sagittarius is a broad-minded intellectual sign ruling large concepts like religion or large issues that the courts would have to deal with, or long-term higher education. So you see that may not affect you very much, particularly if you've got your mind on money and on your job, because Pluto in Capricorn, which is now retrograde, and but it is still trining your sun, simply means that there can be a change in the power structure around you somewhere, Taurus. And you would have to adjust to that if you still want to go ahead and make some financial investments that are more normal and more stable. In other words, not new and experimental, but something that you can really count on. That's why I think this long view that we're all developing is something you can develop too, Taurus, but it would be perhaps a long view regarding your financial dealings. And it may be back to some things that are a little bit more stable and trustworthy and not so new and innovative and unknown. I don't think that anybody wants to move forward into the unknown right now. I think that it's better for us to sort of play it safe as we come out of this pandemic. So I hope you do too, Taurus. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time when you really are going to feel the effects of this full moon total lunar eclipse. And that is because it is at 5 degrees of Sagittarius, directly opposing the sun in your sign, also at 5 degrees. 5 is the number of Gemini, by the way. It's the number of the 5 fingers on your hand. It is an indication that it would be a challenge for you to harness your energies and bring them all together in a way so that you can just concentrate on one powerful thing to do. But that is what you should be doing right now, Gemini. You should focus on your own interests, particularly since you're still so popular. You have Mercury and Venus in your sign, but they're all being opposed by this full moon lunar eclipse. So there is somebody that you know in your life, Gemini, that is moving on. And they will never recover the influence that they have now. But they may not want it either, so that's okay. On the other hand, you won't miss them. You won't miss the person that's going, Gemini, at all. It doesn't mean you dislike anybody, but you just won't miss them either. And then whoever is coming along may instead want to work with people who are younger or who are very much into easy things that can be done quickly. Now, that's your kind of way of operating, Gemini, so things could turn out to be better for you soon. But I'm still saying if you scatter your forces, you're going to lose your power. But if you harness them, bring them into a fist and harness them, you should do much better. But this is a warning sign for you. This full moon lunar eclipse is a warning sign that not everything's going to stay the same for you. And so you have to look at your different options and really either pull them all together or else just concentrate on your number one choice and let the others rest for a while. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Cancer. This is a time when I think that you are full of energy. Mars is still in your sign, and it's an indication that since Pluto is still opposing it, that, you know, the powers that be, or people in authority, or people who are appointed to something, not elected, but appointed, so they don't owe anybody any favors, they've got friends in high places, want to do what they want to do, and it is not necessarily in favor of you or of the interests of your family or even of the country. And so that can make you a little mad, Cancer, particularly after the pandemic we've just been through. But you have got to cool it right now, Cancer. And the reason why is that there is a dearth of information that will be coming out soon from behind the scenes, since Neptune and Jupiter are in Pisces now and they are trining your sun. You can really learn a lot behind the scenes from people that no one knows you know, and that can help sort of fill you in on covert activities or hidden information. It can also mean that you can settle a few. It's not that you can settle a few old scores, but things in the past that had bothered you quite a bit, Cancer, can be settled now because either you have outgrown them or you are no longer interested in them, or it can be that you simply understand them and there is a lot more forgiveness going on. Wouldn't that be nice? So I think things are about to get better for you, Cancer, and that's why I'm urging you, don't get mad at anybody right now, even if you could be mad at an injustice. Remember, there are 3 retrograde planets coming up, and they are going to go back on their orbits, and they are going to reveal more information, and all of that is going to benefit you a lot. So just be patient. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, oh boy, this is what you've been waiting for, Leo. This full moon, total lunar eclipse in Sagittarius is trining your sun, just the way it's trining the Aries sun. And Leo, that's wonderful for you because it gives you your sign's support, which it really needs. And you're actually, you should enjoy the support you're getting right now and begin to think about something new that you want to do, or begin to focus on something that could be educational. It could involve a religious or philosophical belief of yours. That could be rather nice for you. It also could involve sort of a change of friends, because remember, the total lunar eclipse, it means that one woman goes and another woman comes. And the one who's going will never recover the influence that she's had in the past. But that could be okay with her. And so you do have to sort of understand that in a way, that change, when it occurs, is going to benefit you, Leo. And I don't know how, but this lunar eclipse trines your sun. So I want to remind you that that benefit could come at any time in the next 6 months. That's how long it takes for eclipses to take effect. The reason why I'm reminding you that it will benefit you is because by the middle of June, which is just a few weeks away, Mars is going to move into your sign. It's going to stir things up in your life. It is going to square Uranus in Taurus, and it will oppose Saturn in Aquarius. And from the middle of June until the end of July, you're running into trouble, Leo. And I don't know, what you have to do is give yourself, in other words, don't overdo anything right now, because you're going to need to be rested and have a lot of energy and be able to think very clearly between the middle of June and the end of July, when things could go wrong. And so that's, I know I'm talking about the great unknown here, but you've actually got to be sort of clear the decks and be prepared for it, so that you make it through that period of time unscathed if you can. So think about that. And also, this lunar eclipse is going to do you some good. It might take a while, but it's going to do you some good. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when you could be feeling pretty challenged, Virgo, and you could be looking around and saying to yourself, what did I do? I didn't do anything. Well, that's true, Virgo, but you still can get challenged, and the reason why is yours is a mutable sign. And remember, I said this is a very poorly positioned total lunar eclipse. And because there's 6 planets in the mutable signs, all of them are squaring or opposing your sun sign, Virgo. You have backup. Uranus in Taurus is trining your sun, so is Pluto in Capricorn, but it's a little weaker because it's retrograde now, and there's more planets that are going to go retrograde over the summer. As we re-examine a well-hidden lie, we're all going to come a little closer to the truth by the end of the summer. But it's, that's another problem that's coming up, but we can deal with that little by little. For right now, Virgo, you can be facing some serious challenges. And the reason why is the full moon lunar eclipse today is squaring your sun. The sun in Gemini, along with Venus and Mercury in Gemini, are all squaring your sun. And Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces are opposing your sun sign. Those are the 6 planets that are all challenging your sign right now, Virgo. And so even though you are logical and systematic, you're generally not late on anything, you're generally got things pretty well organized, I would just say that there are people around that are going to be making some changes and that may surprise you or sort of knock you off your feet a little bit, Virgo. And yet, in the base of your life, dealing with your own security and the things that are really important to you, I think that's going to remain steady as a rock. But, you interact with people, and you have a career, and you have a social life, and you have a lot of interests, and all of that could be challenged now. And the big challenge is due to indecision and confusion. And you like to have clear answers to everything, Virgo. I don't think you're going to get too many clear answers right now. So that's why you must be very patient and keep writing things down. Stay focused on your own agenda and don't let other people try to push you around right now, Virgo. To tell you the truth, they don't know what's going on either. So I don't see any reason to listen to them. Just stick to your own agenda and try to be as quiet as possible for most of the summer. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Libra. This is a time when you benefit, just like Leo does, from the total lunar eclipse today, because that full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius is sextiling your sun, Libra. And so that a sextile represents opportunity. What could it be? Well, what if one woman does go pretty soon? There might be an opening for you, Libra. Maybe you could take their place. Who knows? But that is possible because it is beneficially aspecting your sun sign. And on top of that, The sun itself and Venus and Mercury in Gemini are all trining your sun sign, and so is Saturn in Aquarius. There are 4 other planets in the air signs trining your sun sign, and the full moon is sextiling your sun sign. There's just a world of possibility out there for you right now, Libra. You don't have to rush forward. I think people who move too fast right now, which is the way fire signs like to work, and the full moon today is in a fire sign, but still, people who rush forward too quickly may be prone to making expensive mistakes. And that is why you need to slow down a little bit, Libra, and just take one step at a time. Your popularity is increasing right now, and that's because Venus, your ruler, is trining your sun. It's in Gemini. Ooh, that's nice. So if I were you, I'd go a little slower and enjoy yourself, Libra. Last year was a tough year for you, because there were so many times throughout the year when there were planets in cardinal signs. Oh, that was a little hard to take. So you owe yourself a little bit of quiet fun and joy. And I think this is a time when that lunar eclipse may present an opportunity for you that could be quite enjoyable. It might have something to do with long distance travel, which is what Sagittarius rules, or just getting a better education. But whatever it is, it's going to work out pretty well for you, Libra, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this full moon total lunar eclipse is right ahead of your sun sign, Scorpio. Ooh, you're going to be able to see it. You're going to be able to see what's happening. You may even know whoever these people are. The woman who's going and will never regain her influence again. Maybe you know that person. Or the woman who will soon be coming, who is a little bit more knowledgeable about what's going on today. You could know that person too, Scorpio. So I think that with these planets going retrograde and everything slowing down, and with malefic planets heading into the fixed signs, this is a time for you to sort of gather your protection around you, Scorpio. In fact, if this were the old days, long, long ago, I would say you need to get your suit of armor on, Scorpio, because there are some threatening things that can be coming up for you. By the middle of June, which is just a few weeks away, Mars will move into Leo and square your sun. Saturn in Aquarius already squaring your sun, and it's retrograde. And then Uranus, the third malefic planet, is in Taurus, and it is opposing your sun sign. This is not going to be a summer when you can take a financial risk with anything, Scorpio. So, let's not bet the farm on anything. And just try to hang on to everything that is yours. The 2 most possessive signs are the 2 financial signs, of course, Scorpio and Taurus. And there's going to be a war going on among fixed signs soon, and that is why you have to try as hard as you can to hold on to what's yours, Scorpio, and not to interact with other people who are sort of throwing challenges your way. Either duck so that those challenges don't hit you, or else put up some sort of defense so that you don't get hurt by them. One or the other, because you got to get through this summer in one good piece, Scorpio. And that is going to take some defensive thinking on your part. And I think that's where you should be thinking right now, because the full moon lunar eclipse today sextiled your sun as well. It's right ahead of your sun sign. You may be thinking about taking a long distance trip, but don't leave your bases uncovered, Scorpio. It is much more important to make sure that everything that you are concerned about is really under your own direct care. And keep it that way for the whole summer if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Oh, Sagittarius, congratulations. This is a pretty big eclipse for you, Sagittarius. A definite change is coming your way. It may involve someone else leaving that you know, but in time, another person will come. So all of that could work out pretty well. But at the moment, because the full moon lunar eclipse is in your sign, but it's being squared by Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces and opposed by the Sun and Venus and Mercury in Gemini, I would say that you're going to be challenged. If it doesn't happen today, that's fine, but it's coming up, Sagittarius. You could be challenged in a way that distracts you. There could be a lot of distractions. Remember, there's going to be indecision and confusion around. And so if you're distracted, that means that you might not focus on your highest priority. You might have to put that aside. I advise you not to do that. You should stick with your highest priority, Sagittarius. It will be a little hard to hold on to that. It will be, there's going to be delay and there's going to be challenges, but yours is an intellectual, high-minded sign. And nothing over time has ever been easy. But the reason it's lasted is because it's so strong. So that's true of centuries-old religions and cultures that have been going on forever, and countries that have a very, very rich past, no matter what their current economic status is. So we can respect that. And you should respect your own highest priority. And I would say, listen to the music of the spheres. Let God talk to you and follow a higher path, Sagittarius, even if you are being challenged. Okay, who said it would be easy? You can do it, though. And the reason I'm assuring you of that, I can even tell you when you can do it. It will be, in other words, there's going to be a lot of challenges in the next 6 months for you. But 6 months from now, there's another eclipse in your sign. There is a solar eclipse in your sign in December. And that solar eclipse is a new beginning. All you have to do is keep your eye on the ball, Sagittarius, and realize that you got to be ready for takeoff by the end of the year. So don't get distracted by too many other things. It's not worth it. The new beginning is going to be great for you. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Oh, Capricorn. This is a time with that full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius right behind your sun sign. It does mean there's a lot of light in the sky. It also means that somewhere in the background of your life, Capricorn, there's going to be a change. And the change may be in something that has to do with your home, your family, or your feelings, or there can be a woman that's moving on in one way or another. She may choose to do that. Maybe this is a different time in her life and she wants to make a change herself. She would have a very good reason for changing. And she could be a highly respected person as well. But because that's all occurring in the background of your life, Capricorn, I would say that it's important for you just to stay on stable ground right now. That's enough. Pluto has just gone retrograde in your chart and are in the heavens, and there's going to be a lot more retrograde planets. None of us is going to be able to move forward too quickly and over the summer, and that's to the good. It means we'll have more time to examine the facts and reach a good conclusion about something. So if there is something that has to be corrected because it really wasn't at its highest good, we could find that out over the summer, and that would be all right with you, Capricorn. Capricorns really like to follow the rules and do everything right. And one of the most important things to a Capricorn is respect. And that's not only having self-respect, but being able to respect others. And that is what we're heading into, a period of time when we're re-examining who deserves our respect and who doesn't. And so you know a lot about that, Capricorn. I think you're going to be doing just fine. But you may want to, sort of ease up on your power a little bit while Pluto is retrograde and just concentrate on simple things right now. And you do have backup. Uranus and Taurus is trining your sun until 2025. So I wouldn't worry about anything too much. Just take it easy if you can. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time that you can be wanting to sort of bolt. And by that, I mean go somewhere or do something, or there can be something in your life, Aquarius, that you just feel, oh, I have really outgrown this. I want to get out of it. Well, that's possible. It could be a job. It could be some investment you've made that isn't working out the way you thought it would. And the reason why is that your own ruler, Uranus in Taurus, is squaring Saturn in your sun sign. And it is, these are two malefic planets. And so I don't think that you are coming with the money either from your investments or from some other association that you thought you were going to get. And I think that that can bother you right now. And Saturn is going retrograde. Pluto's retrograde right now, but then Saturn will go retrograde, and Mercury is also going retrograde. And so a lot of people are going to have to sort of readjust their thinking, and I think that's you, Aquarius. You are enormously popular. Everybody likes you, Aquarius. Nothing wrong with that, but there's something wrong with either the business side or the career side or the investment side. And you know it's going to take a little while for you to unwind all that. And even then, I don't think you'll get everything that you want. So I hope you develop a more flexible attitude because I think you're going to need it. And so don't get mad at anything, particularly not between the middle of June and the end of July, when Mars in Leo is going to be opposing Saturn in your sign. And Uranus and Taurus will be squaring Saturn in your sign. You are very vulnerable in that period of time, which is this summer, Aquarius. So try to enjoy simple pleasures right now, and I think that'll make you happy. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time with Jupiter in your sign for the first time in 12 years, Pisces. I mean, Jupiter, there's 12 signs. Jupiter takes about a year in every sign, so it doesn't get back to somebody's sign except once every 12 years. And so it's taken a little preview jaunt through your sign right now, Pisces, because between now and the end of July, it's in your sign, along with your own ruler, Neptune. Your creative powers should just be overflowing right now, Pisces, and that's wonderful. But next year is when it's really going to pay off, because next year, because Jupiter will, by the end of July, Jupiter will go back into Aquarius and stay there until the end of the year. And then it's coming into your sign for all of 2022. And that is when you're going to have a great year, Pisces. But in the meantime, right now, there is a odd thing happening. And it's that there are 6 planets in the mutable signs, all squaring and opposing each other under the full moon in Sagittarius today. So that full moon is squaring Jupiter and Neptune in your sign, and the Sun, Venus, and Mercury in Gemini are also squaring Jupiter and Neptune in your sign. So you could be somewhat detained from what you really want to do, or delayed from what you really want to do right now. And I think you should just develop a lot of patience about that, Pisces. In other words, your creative juices could be overflowing right now, but there's just a lot of other things going on that people are thinking about. And there are some things that need to be corrected or fixed or re-examined as the planets go retrograde over the summer. And all 3 malefic planets will be squaring each other between the middle of June and end of July. It's going to be tense. And so, Pisces, just try to carve out a little peaceful time for yourself and try to be as creative as you can, because Jupiter's going to stay in your sign until the end of July. So it is amazing. If you just let these sparks of creativity express themselves, you could be setting yourself up for a whole new career. Who knows? All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and read our blog on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.